Isolation erodes our well-being. It erodes our strength. And it actually even will erode our ability to be spiritually mature and to grow in Jesus. It is not God's plan that we would be isolated. Isolation and loneliness are the enemies of our soul. And they are like growing at epidemic proportions in our world. 30% of adults feel lonely at least once a week. Like 1 out of 3 people are dealing with this, not just occasionally, but like every week. Almost 1 out of 3 adults are saying, man, I deal with this sense of loneliness. Younger adults are hit even harder. And single adults, it jumps up from about 30% to 40%, saying, I deal with this at least weekly. Loneliness is associated with significant health risks. It really is bad for us. It's really not healthy. They say that loneliness can be the equivalent in our bodies and how it impacts us negatively. It's equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Ugh. Not good. It increases the risk of depression and anxiety. It heightens our risk for things like cardiovascular disease, hypertension, cancer, and even premature death. This is how negative loneliness is. This is not God's plan. We need more, God. And we need more relationship and community. I want you to put up that first slide. This is what our world seems to increasingly be looking like. Where people are living in isolation, separated from each other. And there's many, many reasons. But go ahead and put up the next slide. We're just going to put some words on some of these. Man, there's like low self-esteem. There's social anxiety, which was really heightened during the pandemic, where people are just like, they just feel like, I just don't know if I can be close to people anymore. So many different reasons. Anger issues. When you think of how our society has become more and more polarized, whether it's politically or ideologies, where people are just like, I don't know if those people are going to be friendly towards me. I might view life a little bit differently than they do. Then you even put in just like immigration and the differences between cultures and like there's like, I don't know if that's a safe person. So there's all these reasons in our society that seems to have this increase of isolation, separating people, that breeds this whole thing of loneliness. But I don't have time to talk about all those. I want to talk about what researchers are saying is the number one reason that is kind of driving this wave of isolation in our world today. And I'm just calling it tech isolation. Tech isolation. It's like we're living more and more in digital bubbles. Like these little cocoons, right? That are like made up of smartphones and computers and gaming systems and all those things that just kind of insulate us digitally from the world around us. And I already talked quite a bit about this last week, actually, when we were saying how would God want to bless us with more time. And we looked at like how even in family structures, like smartphones and digital devices are becoming really detrimental. They're hurting us and stealing our time and stealing our ability to relate well with one another. It's a real problem. But one of the things I did not talk about last week that I want to just heighten to our understanding and to get us think about, like, how have we gotten this place? Why is there so much tech isolation in our world? And I did not address it last week at all. But it's something that is becoming an increasing issue in our world, and I'm telling you, it's taking over, and in many ways, it's already taken over, and it has to do with artificial intelligence, or AI. When we think about tech isolation, friends, we are only right now experiencing like the tip of the iceberg. Like the technoference that we talked about last week, how just phones can just get in the way of these interpersonal relationships. This is only the tip of the iceberg because AI is taking over. And in many ways, it already has. Like you are using AI probably in many ways that you don't even realize. Like if you have a Spotify account, it's like, man, how is it figuring out what I like to listen to? It's AI. If you go on Amazon and like you're just searching on stuff, how does it know the products that they want to put in front of you? Because they're different than the products they want to show me. It's AI. If you like use like Google Maps or Waze or things like that, how does it know how to get me around, traffic problems? And how does it try to get? It's AI. You're already using it. In fact, this morning I went on I wanted to remind myself, just went on to Google, which I don't use very much anymore. Why? Because I use AI. Like I just don't even go to Google hardly anymore. I go to like Perplexity and sites like that which I just think are just better than Google. But you know what? Google, if you go to Google, like there's AI mode right built into it. Like you can search something and it's like, boop, the first thing that pops up is like an AI answer. AI is like already taking over. But what you may not be fully aware of, I know some of you are. But this whole rise of what is called AI companions is a huge thing. They're like fakey digital friends, faux friends, not real friends. Not real people, but AI companions. Did you know, and this is if you're not aware of what they are, I mean, it's like they're kind of taking over in many digital spaces. Like all of the AI companies are creating these AI companions. Currently, like just today, right now, 20% of adults are using AI companions at least every week. 1 out of 5. So like when you look around the room, it's kind of like, who's your online buddy? Are they real? The number one reason they're saying that people are using AI companions, the number one reason today is for replacing human therapy and emotional support. Now that's what's happening. That's what's happening with adults, 1 out of 5. For teenagers, 52% are using AI companions like regularly. Over half of teenagers are already using these. Friends, these are simulated relationships. Like just think about this for a moment. These are algorithms. These are like fancy math equations that have been formulated to like trap us in to this digital web. There's no real emotion there. They don't really care about our problems. These AI companions. Tech does not care. Can we all just say that? Can we just say that out loud together? Tech does not care. It doesn't care about you. It doesn't care about your fears, your questions, where you're hurting. It has no real emotion. It is an algorithm that is simulating what it would feel like if you were with a real person. Maybe a real therapist or just a real friend. There is a huge danger that has been well documented already of people that have gotten so connected to these AI companions that it has led to them doing some terrible things, including suicide. It's heartbreaking to see what's happening. But friends, I'm telling you, we are only at the very tip of the iceberg. The statistics that I told you in the next 5 years are going to grow exponentially. They are projected to double in the next 5 years. In fact, AI is driven by what they call compute power. And in the next 5 years, it's very possible that the compute power driving AI is going to grow 10,000 times more than it is today. 10,000 times. And you already know what's happening like with deep fakes and with just like how insane this is getting. It's taking over. And it's taking over in this most personal, relational space. It's going to take over other areas too, and we talk about those in other times. One of the challenges that we're seeing right now, though, with AI and these AI companions is that OpenAI, who's the creator of what's called ChatGPT, which if you didn't know is like kind of the number one place that most people go, they have already announced, they just announced it this week, that by the end of the year, they are going to allow eroticized companions. Fully erotic, fully sexualized AI companions. I'm just keeping you aware of like, no, these are the real things that like are going on. Maybe with even someone in your family, maybe someone that's in your neighborhood, maybe somebody in your church that you would love and care for. And this is what is happening in our world. Like right now, and this is pretty staggering, but 1 in 5 searches on smartphones today are porn related. 1 in 5 are porn related. Porn destroys relationship and community. 1 in 5 today are. What's going to happen as AI grows and you get these AI companions who are designed by their algorithm to like get into your brain, to be able to know like your deepest weaknesses, your deepest fears, your deepest desires, and then exploit those. Like to keep you hooked. What's going to happen, friends? I'll tell you what, it's not good. We are right now, like we're like in the Titanic. And there's a little iceberg out there. We think it's a little iceberg. It's massive. And it can like sink the ship. When it comes to relationship, when it comes to healthy community, it could destroy us. We need to steer the ship in a new direction. Thank God that Jesus came. And just go up to that next slide. Just put that next one up there. Boop! Come on, let's bring Jesus into the picture. There he is. Woo! See, because when we say yes to Jesus, he's not bothered by all these other things. He's not bothered by the issues. He's not bothered by AI, right? He's the King of Kings. He's the Lord of Lords. He's over all things. He is not bothered. Doesn't worry him. Jesus ain't losing sleep. He's not losing sleep over all these issues, over our problems. And here's the beautiful thing. Get ready to hit that next slide in just a second, Jared. When we say yes to Jesus, what we find is that, go ahead, go up to the next slide, boom. He moves us out of isolation and into community. He moves us out of isolation. See, when we receive Jesus, a lot of us, like, our first assumption is, well, I'm going to have a relationship with him. I invited him in. Scripture even says that he's like right here. He's like in my heart, right? It's a beautiful picture. I have Jesus right here. But what we don't realize is that God's plan all along is to move people out of isolation and into community, not only with Jesus, but with other people.